Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Cam. Now picture this. It's 3 o'clock on a freezing, wet Friday afternoon in a massive, noisy transport yard. The trucks are backing up, the diesel fumes are thick, and everyone's busting a gut to get home for the weekend. Suddenly, there's a loud crunch. A forklift has backed straight into a concrete structural column. The driver's fine, but the machine is absolutely wrecked, and there's a puddle of hydraulic fluid spreading across the concrete. Within 10 minutes, the supervisor is out there with a clipboard, looking solemn. He scribbles down his final verdict. Operator error. Driver failed to pay attention. Case closed. Everyone can go home. It's neat, it's tidy, and most importantly for the bosses, it means the system isn't broken, just the bloke behind the wheel. But here's the absolute truth. That clipboard is a lie. Stopping an investigation at human error is like going to the doctor with a raging fever and having them write down high temperature as the final diagnosis. It's not a cause, it's a symptom. True systems thinking, the kind we teach in the ICAM methodology, treats human error as the starting point of the real search, not the finish line. When we dig beneath the surface of that forklift crash, we find a completely different story. We start using our data-gathering framework, what we call the PEEPO model. We look at the people, the environment, the equipment, the procedures, and the organisation. And suddenly, we discover that the warehouse was double booked. The operator was working his 14th consecutive hour. The reversing beeper on that particular machine had been reported broken 3 days ago. And the painted pedestrian lanes had been completely worn away. So, was it really just inattention? Or was that driver placed in a system where a mistake was practically guaranteed? When you start asking why systematically, going beyond the first obvious answer, you stop seeing bad players at the sharp end, and you start seeing the latent conditions that we, as leaders, allowed to sit quietly in the dark. Now, if you've spent more than 5 minutes in a modern corporate workplace, you've probably been bombarded with high-vis vests, glossy posters, and acronyms that make your head spin. We love our safety slogans, don't we? Safety first, zero harm, or my personal favourite corporate myth, the DuPont-Bradley curve, proudly displayed on slides in boardrooms to show how we're progressing from dependent to interdependent safety cultures. Let's be completely honest here. Most of these models are a load of codswallop, designed to make executives feel warm and fuzzy. Take zero harm. It sounds incredibly noble, doesn't it? Who could possibly argue against wanting nobody to get hurt? But in the messy, real world, when you make zero harm an absolute, non-negotiable expectation, you don't actually stop the harm, you just stop the reporting. Think about it. If a site is close to hitting a major milestone, say 300 days LTI free, with a massive spit roast barbecue promised to everyone if they reach it, do you think a young contractor is going to report a deeply sliced finger or a sprained ankle? Not on your life. They'll wrap it in electrical tape, hide it in their pocket, and keep working. The statistics look perfect. The board of directors is thrilled, but the actual risk remains exactly the same, or worse, gets driven completely underground. And that's where models like the Bradley curve fall apart. They assume safety is a neat, linear progression. ICAM breaks that myth wide open by showing that safety is a dynamic, complex web of defenses. We need to stop chasing perfect paperwork and clean administrative metrics and start engaging with the actual, messy, lived reality of the workers on the ground. This brings us to the final and perhaps most frustrating trap in safety management. The lazy, shallow fix. You see it in almost every standard incident report. The corrective actions are always some variation of retrain the worker, update the standard operating procedure, or the absolute classic, remind staff to be more careful. Let me ask you, when was the last time you did something silly and a piece of paper magically stopped you from doing it again? Writing an administrative band-aid is the easiest thing an investigator can do, but according to the hierarchy of controls, it is also the least effective. It is trying to fix the player instead of designing a better game. If an investigation reveals that a technician made a rule-based mistake because they were using an outdated, unreadable 30-page manual, retraining them on that same useless manual is not a fix, it's a cop-out. An effective corrective action must target the latent organisational factors. It means redesigning the process, procuring safer tools, or physically isolating the hazard so that human error can't turn into a catastrophe. But doing that requires real leadership courage. It's easy to blame the worker. It's incredibly uncomfortable to write a report that says, "Our aggressive scheduling and lack of capital investment created the conditions for this failure." Yet, that is the defining moment for any investigator. Are you there to protect the politics of the boardroom, or are you there to find the truth so your people can go home safe to their families? At the end of the day, a good safety record doesn't mean you're a safe organisation. It might just mean you've been lucky. So next time something goes wrong on your watch, I want you to step back, put away the easy blame, and ask the hard, uncomfortable questions. Thanks for listening to Cam's Corner today. If you want to learn more about how we apply the ICAM methodology to see past the blind spots, check out our resources at SafetyWise. Until next time, stay sharp, look after your mates, and keep asking why.